What's the difference between a truly exceptional Warzone player and one who's above average? TimtheTatman needs no introduction. Everyone has seen his array of highlights, hilarious humorisms, and his captivating personality. Although many people think Tim is only popular for his jokes and charisma, Tim is actually a pretty good Warzone player. When you peel back the statistics and gameplay of TimtheTatman on Warzone, you'll realize something. He is not just a below average or average player, he is above average by a large margin. According to JGod and Warzone Rank, the average KD on Rebirth is 0.96, but the most common KDs are in the 0.6 to 0.9 range. That means that out of the many millions of players that play Call of Duty, most are well below average, and a few are exceptional. So if you want to be disgusting at Warzone, impress your friends, and maybe become a content creator, what do you have to do to be exceptional? With Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone 2 on the horizon, that's what we're going to look to answer in this video. To get to the point where your gameplay is truly elite, you don't need 40 hours a week of gaming. Take it from me. I used to have a 0.2 KD when I started my first ever FPS game, Modern Warfare 2019. I was terrible. I had no concept of centering, movement, spacing, or flanks. I just ran around like a bot and reacted to what I saw. That's when I started watching players like Wagnificent, Iceman Isaac, JoeWo, Nick Mercs, and Swag, just to name a few. I realized that the best players don't rely simply on reacting to what they see. Reaction time is just one item in the bag of tricks that they use to dominate in Call of Duty Warzone. So I made changes. I kept watching, I saved my clips, started streaming, and was hard on myself. And simply being hard on yourself doesn't result in growth. You have to look at yourself critically and acknowledge what's working and what's not. The first step to taking your gameplay from average to exceptional is finding a way to watch back your footage. Oftentimes, your mistakes are going to be put within three categories: game sense, movement, or aim. So the questions you have to ask yourself are things like, did I do too much in that scenario with my movement? Did I try to finesse or YY when it wasn't necessary? Should I have pushed from a different angle or a different height? Or lastly, did I just miss my shots? Ultimately, if you don't have good aim and movement, you have to work on that. And here's some of the best ways to do it. So we start by centering around corners where we expect people to push us from, and then we simply hit the shot. If you repeat this against bots and put yourself in difficult situations, eventually you'll see that your movement and aim improves. So once you can hit your shots and you have the right settings, what do you do next? That's when we queue up solo duos. Challenge yourself to land at a hot drop like prison or another location and try to slay out and get that loadout immediately. Being that you only have a self-revive to save yourself, you're really going to have to play it smart and aggressive. Eventually you'll find that you get used to this pace and you know exactly when to push and when not to. But let's talk about it in case you want some tips. When you're in solo duos or solo trios, you want to make sure you have a UAV up and you have some idea of where people around you are. So that starts with paying attention to the minimap. Once you have that UAV or loadout, you want to immediately push from the high ground and keep the high ground at all times. And once you get that initial knock, you have to not miss your shots because you have a limited window to get in there and get the team wipe. But as you do this more and more consistently, not only will you win more games, you'll find yourself winning more gunfights. You might have the occasional ugly loss or that fight where you just don't hit your shots. But that's okay. That's how you actually get better at Warzone, is by failing. Before you can be good at something, you have to be bad. So here's a little look at a solo duo gameplay that I got on stream. Make sure you sub and turn on noties if you want to be in the live stream, because those take place right here on YouTube. What differentiates a successful solo duo or trio player is their ability to react and think quickly. As I go to grab my second loadout and solo duos, an enemy is dropping on me and I get the audio cue above. But unfortunately, I don't have time to really think here. I have my STG in hand, and although I want my Blixen, I'm gonna have to challenge. I don't have time to waste.
He just caught.
I've left my opponent speechless, but I still have to wipe this squad and end the game with a banger, as I'm on 11 with 10 up, and I really want the dub. But what great players do is they check the minimap, and the minimap tells me that the other player is pushing me. So after I grab my gun, I have to reposition here and prepare for him and his teammate to come back for me. So now here's where I wipe him and show you the ultimate way to get better at Warzone.
He's back here again.
He's back here again. As I get the kill again, I'm strafing side to side, which means I'm harder to hit and I get more aim assists.
In here, what the
Because the minimap shows me that he's on the same level, I'm anticipating him jumping directly at me. Notice where my white dot is. Exactly where he is.
Oh my.
So the reality is that when you play solo duos, it's not going to be smooth and you will die more frequently than you win. But when you do win gunfights and you do wipe teams, you find yourself building confidence, understanding, and getting reps. And repetition is one of the best ways to get better. Now, for the last step of this video, it's really important to watch players that are better than you and take notes on what they're doing at all times. One player that I really want you to pay attention to is JoeWo. I'm sure you're already very familiar with JoeWo. He's known as the Movement King, and he puts people on skates frequently. But one thing that JoeWo does really well is use all of the game mechanics to his advantage. 3 that come to mind are doors, stims, and throwing knives. Watch how JoeWo uses opening and closing of a door to confuse his enemy here. When you close the door, you make your enemy think you're running away. JoeWo isn't running away though. He's setting a trap and it's gonna work. So the best players in Warzone use all of the game mechanics to their advantage. They have awesome aim-mid movement. They watch back their gameplay to improve. And lastly, they outthink their opponent. Players who aren't as good at the game think that JoeWo and others are just sliding around aimlessly. But that is not the true story. Every movement has to be calculated and every press of the button precise. Once you have that repetition and muscle memory, it only gets easier from there. Got a TTV squad.
God damn you, you.
As you can see, becoming an exceptional Warzone player has a lot to do with how much time you spend in the game, but more importantly than that, how you spend the time that you are playing. I'm a middle school teacher and I work a lot of hours per week. In fact, I probably only play 8 to 10 hours of COD per week, but I put out videos to help people get better and I evaluate my own gameplay seriously. And I work on different facets of my game by playing solo duos and trios and working on my aim and movement. If you want to become better at Call of Duty, consider hitting that subscribe button, turning on bell notifications, that way you don't miss future videos and you can join our community. Now for the rest of the video here, I'm actually going to commentate specific elements of a solo duo gameplay so you can see a little bit more what the game sense, aim, and movement is that is required to win in these situations. Knowing where your nearest piece of cover is extremely important, but it's not more important than hitting those flanks that are going to completely confuse your opponent. As I jump up on top of Nova, my opponent has no idea that I can use the air conditioner to get up top. And as you see this last piece of gameplay here, which is a solo duos win, notice how I play the positioning based on where I expect other opponents to be and where is best for me to be on the map and high ground.
Get up top.
Or am I? Okay, there's 4 other players here. I gotta watch this left side. Oh! There's one on the left side there, chat. I actually have to go up here now.
You're losing ground. Move it.
I want to get up here now, actually. I'll explain why in a sec.
You made it to the top 5. Smashing.
I'm just gonna hold them here. Hopefully I don't get beamed by like 2 players at once here. Okay, it's a 1v1 with the guy that's on the shed over here. I'm fairly certain. And he's got to push up. He's got to push up. Oh! Oh, yo, we almost hit that, chat.
Never stood a chance.
Oh! Let's go! Let's go! And I'll see you in the next video. Make sure you drop a sub and turn on noties so you don't miss future videos if you do want to get better at Warzone.